Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we've got a couple of special guests from a sentiment-based project, and that's WatermelonBlock. So we welcome the co-founder Elliot and community manager Sasha. How you going, guys?
Very
Yeah,
good.
thank
Lovely
you.
to be here with you.
Yeah. So sentiment's very important in crypto, and it's something that I talk about a lot. So I was very interested when you guys came along and said, you're doing a whole project about sentiment. So how did you get into crypto, and how did it all lead to a sentiment-based project?
Yeah, so Sasha's been a trader for a while. I'm sure he can tell you his story. For me, I've been in cryptocurrency for around 2 years. I got really, really interested in it about midway through last year. I run a bunch of community arts festivals in Australia, and a bunch of sort of my younger crew, architects, designers, stuff like that, were getting into it, and it gave them the ability to stop working crappy jobs and actually have a pretty good stream of income and pursue their passion. So that's probably where I really got into it, and then it sort of all just grew from there. We saw a serious problem with people not being able to get clear information, sort of non-biased information. And then I got really interested in sentiment analysis, which I know you obviously are as well.
Yeah.
And that's really where WatermelonBlock was born from.
Yeah, cool. Sentiment in the crypto market. So, what do you guys notice that might be of interest to our audience about, when markets go up in December and January and everyone's euphoric? And, what do you guys notice with the stats you look at in general and lately when obviously everyone's doom and gloom and thinks Bitcoin's going to zero and stuff? What sort of things do you guys notice?
I think that we've come across this question a few times about does the market create the sentiment or does the sentiment create the market? And I think that there are examples of both of those things happening, and you can't you have to, there's an equilibrium in between them that allows you to kind of make the best trade, and you see exact examples of where the market has created the sentiment. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes on a bull run like it has last couple of days, then everybody starts, it's great, right? And then, therefore it flows on. But in the other side as well of the coin is that you've got great sentiment that creates great price fluctuation, and also negative sentiment that creates price decrease. And I think that that's what we're here to try and help people be informed about, especially in a speculative market where these things can account for huge price fluctuations. So we hope to kind of bring and highlight that sentiment for people. For sure.
Yeah. And any thoughts just in general about news driving sort of sentiment and that sort of thing versus, the markets themselves? We see Main Street publish some, terrible headlines, Bitcoin's dead or whatever, and I think, often it bottoms the next week or something like that. Do you guys put more weight in what's happening in the news articles, or is it more what's happening on social media?
I think both. We certainly look at both when so what we're doing is we're giving people with our first application an index so they can track the top 500 cryptocurrencies by market cap, and according to sentiment. So that's broken up into social media and the regular media. Both have a huge impact. I think that really in terms of social media, obviously influencers, they seem to be by far the most important factor, in creating price changes or hype or whatever. And definitely we take that into consideration in the way that we weight. In terms of news articles, it obviously plays a huge role. I think especially when exchanges get hacked. There's keywords in there, and you'll often see the price change, directly because of that.
I think as well, you're seeing kind of a nice combination of media and social media together, because a lot of the time, big media articles are actually reported off what somebody said as a social commentary. So that's, it's going to be a kind of good combination of those two factors that allow you to stay in front and monitoring for those kind of key things. But I think that's really pertinent to the crypto market, is that when you see a kind of big figure say something, all of the news articles dump all over it, and post. Look at this person's tweet. Look what Jamie Dimon said. Look who John McAfee said. It's all a bit of a kind of perpetuating loop. So
Yeah.
and Yeah, that was actually one of the big ideas. Exactly that. When a seriously bad article, a string of bad articles come around, the user has to be notified, or ideally, what we've created is a portfolio where the user's notified. So when there's a sudden drop in sentiment, an alarm goes off, the watermelon alarm, and the user's told, hey, you better have a look at this.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into that a bit more. So, what exactly is the project? Is it an app or web application or both? And sort of what details is this giving the user?
Cool. Yeah. So, look, the main thing that we've really been pushing with the application is the first release, which is a crypto insights application on the iPhone, and that does just what I described. What we actually are, though, is a platform that allows you to build your own indexes. So we're releasing something called Watermelon Analytics, and that is actually for web. So it doesn't matter whether you're a trader, or whether you're trying to watch, what's happening in politics, or whether you are a store manager and you want to see what should I be stocking, according to geolocation. That's what we do. We're not just analyzing sentiment of a single product. We're actually analyzing sentiment of an entire market, because obviously sentiment is super relative. What's the point in knowing? I don't know. Monero is all of a sudden is become there's a really positive outlook on it when there's maybe other coins that are really, really surpassing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're taking into consideration, and that's really the idea behind what we're building.
Cool. Okay, so dive into how this relates to needing a blockchain or needing a token and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the blockchain's immutable, so it's basically keeping the information available, transparent for anyone to see and use as they see fit. I mean, that's the real reason for using blockchain. Yes. Obviously, other than the token, but
sentiment's like any other data. You want it to be secure, and you don't want it to be tampered with. It's relative information, so it needs to be secured.
Yeah. And the token, is that how we use as the onboard currency, or what are the other sort of utilities for that?
Yeah, so our token is essentially going to allow people to action and give access to our ecosystem of sentiment. And what we're going to see is, as we release our Watermelon service, our white label platform, you're going to see people build different ecosystems, because one of the things we're really excited about is people know, smart people know what exactly they need, and so they're going to cut away the excess. And by having this kind of joint ecosystem of what this kind of unified use, then you'll have access to other things like that, and you'll be able to, and all of a sudden you have in the nature of blockchain, you're going to have this kind of ever growing ecosystem that you're able to trade around and access through through our token.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, beyond paying for data, we also actually allow the people that are building off our system to accept Watermelon blocks also. So it's not just going to be used within the application to pay for premium features. It's actually going to be used throughout all of the applications built off Watermelon block.
Okay, so you guys have decided to raise on Ethereum, and obviously that's probably the thing that a lot of people are familiar with in terms of this decentralized fundraising model, but your technology is actually building on top of NEM. So do you want to talk about all that?
Yeah, totally. We're raising Ethereum, and then we will be at some point converting to NEM.
We're doing really excitingly. We're doing this. We're rolling out our NEM mainnet launch and we're building our NEM blockchain on Linux 1, which hasn't been done before, and it's going to actually be the safest NEM token that's ever been built, which is really, really exciting for us. So that's that kind of, if you talk to our CCO about it, he'd be jumping through the roof about it. So
we're going to actually release some more stuff about that.
Yeah, there'll be further information coming out about that. But right now, we're just starting as the standard kind of ERC20 is what people are familiar with, and then we'll move on to the NEM blockchain.
Yeah, it's exciting for us, and I know we've spoken on the channel that a lot of these other projects that are the infrastructure platforms, NEM, Neo, whatever they are, they kind of get forgotten a little about it a bit, and people, like yourselves, are now building real projects on top of these other blockchains as well. So it's great to see.
We're seeing a lot of AI projects as well, funnily enough, being built on the NEM blockchain, which is it's obviously a kind of use case for those projects.
Right, from your side of the table, who would you love to see using this? Is this more for the individual trader or the individual that's just interested in sentiment, or are there real enterprise use cases for this as well?
Yeah, definitely look both. The first application that we're going to be releasing, it's certainly for the individual. It's really for everybody. It's super easy to use. The interface was built with simplicity in mind. The idea is that you don't need to be an expert to use WatermelonBlock. It can be for novice traders as well. But of course, if you are seasoned, it's still really useful because you've got all the news at your fingertips, and you can obviously track the sentiment live, which is really important. And yeah, the second application, Watermelon Analytics, that's more for business. It's not really for probably individuals. I mean, unless you want to sort of build an index just out of interest, but certainly when you're tracking a market or an industry, you would assume that you'd probably be looking for an organization.
Awesome. Cool. Well, any final thoughts, guys? I'm not sure when this will air, depending on what's happening in the crypto world. It seems like something's happening every day lately, but you guys are having a fundraising soon?
Yeah, we are. Tomorrow, actually.
So 27th of July is our pre-sale opens.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that, guys. And certainly friends with the channel. We love helping Australian-based projects. I'm sure we'll keep in touch again in the future. And where can people go to find out more information?
WatermelonBlock.io.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, thanks very much for having us.
Cheers.
Oh.